Good morning, DFI 1 students. Hope you are doing well during this time. I just wanted to put my face up on the screen for a moment so you can see where this voice is coming from still. Uh, we're going to start the second page. The second page can be named either about, location, or history. Or if you want to come up with another one-word name, but basically this page is like an about page. What we're going to do is we're going to take that middle content area, article left, article right, and we're going to substitute it with some different information. I think on the, we'll switch it around, and on the left side we're going to put some directions and some kind of fictitious information about your location, of the fictitious boutique. And on the right side, we're going to put in a Google map, and we'll embed that. We'll leave those same three rollover images down there and the promotions bar. So the page, the only thing that's going to change is actually we may not do the left and right thing. I don't want to change the CSS. So we may have the left be the Google map and the right side be the text. That way we leave the padding the same to make it similar and simpler. All right, we're going to get after it, and so let's dive in. And I remind you that I call my files sometimes like index 4, index 5. I'm going to call this one like about to. Forget the numbers that I do because I'm making multiple copies of this for the demonstration purposes, okay? So just don't let that confuse you in any way. Your CSS is still going to be style.css. My CSS might have a number on it. So ignore those little numeric differences. All right, talk to you soon. All right, students, picking up where we left off. So you should be in this same stage that I am. The only thing I noticed is I didn't add a footer yet. So I'm behind the curve. You guys are ahead of me. I'll add the footer and show you that later. But the footer is basically going to have these links up here just repeated, then a little disclaimer about the pictures aren't mine, and I don't claim them to be mine. All right, so here we are. We're at the index page, and we want to save this because everything's going to be the same except for a couple little content areas. This article left, instead of having that background picture only there, we're going to have a map in here, a big Google map. And on the right hand side, we're going to have like your address, how people can find you, maybe an invitation to visit your fictitious store. Okay, something like that. So it'll feel just the same as far as the layout, and that'll make your coding really simple. At first, I thought I would switch it around and put the big image on the right and the left. We could do that, but if you get brave and want to try that on your own, you're fine. We could just move article left and right, switch sides. The thing is if I mess with the CSS, it will affect everything on every page that is inside of that container. So that's why I didn't want to be, since we're out of class and not together, I think it could be confusing. So let's leave it this simple way. So I'm going to do this, and you do this as well. So go to File and Save As. You've got this all working hopefully pretty well. We're going to do File, Save As, and let's call this About. Okay. Now, if you're calling your page location or history, you can call it something else if you want, but I'm calling mine About. You can always come back and change these later, but if you do, you need to change the names of the links as well. Okay. I'm going to call mine About 2 because, now remember, you don't call yours About 2, you call yours about.html. I just have multiple of these because of the demonstrations, as I keep saying. So let me save mine. You save yours as about.html. And it looks exactly the same. I'll see up here in the tabs that I've got my about, and I've got my index. And like I say, disregard those numbers. I keep saying it over and over. I just don't want you to start putting numbers in yours because it will mess things up for you. All right, so zooming back out, let's look at this. The green barrel or your image that you had on the left side, we did that as a background image, so it doesn't matter. All I'm going to do is I'm going to put the map right over the top of it. So what we want to do is we want to embed a Google map, which means you have to have an address. You can pause and find an address or just make one up, but it needs to be an actual findable address for Google Maps. So let's go to Chrome or Firefox or whatever browser you use. I'm going to quit Firefox here. And I'm going to Chrome, and what I did is I just simply put in Google Maps, did a search, and obviously I put Google Maps in, and then it took me to there. Clicked on Google Maps. Now I want to put an address. So I'm going to put in the address of my studio, which is downtown Troy, North 3 Knott Street. I see it right here. So it took me, yeah, that's my studio, although I'm trying to make it look a little better than that now. But I can see that's the address. Here it is. So that's the map that I want to embed. So you put in an address. You can pause, find an address. But what we want to do is I want to make a functional, fully functional embedded map to be inside my website, right on that 500 by 350 or whatever that size was that article left. And if you'll look at the far left over here, now if you're using a different browser besides Chrome, it might look different. I don't know. But what we're looking for is the word share. So I'm dropping down to this menu and I'm looking for share. And for me, it's nearly at the bottom of this menu sidebar. It says share or embed map, okay? I'm going to click that. And if you'll notice, this little dialog box comes up. And we want to click on embed a map. Make sure you don't say send a link, but embed a map. And you get this... you want a medium size, large, custom size. I want a custom size, but I don't know what size that is yet. So right now I'm just going to put in a medium. Okay. I'm going to change the size when I put it into Dreamweaver. But I'm just going to say medium. I can always change it to be large. And we're going to copy this. Now you can either drag through and copy it all. It's probably easier to just hit this button that says copy HTML. It's kind of invisible. It copies it onto the desktop, or clipboard they call it. All right, I'm going to minimize this screen, and because I clicked on copy HTML, and what I did, this is called an iFrame, and what an iFrame is, you guys have television sets. You know how you can watch two different shows at one time. You're watching a movie, but you don't want to miss a ball game, so you got that PIP, a picture inside the picture. That's kind of what happens. This Google Maps is going to land right here, and if I size it just right, it'll fit this exact space right here where this green barrel photo is. So this is inside of article left. I'm in the source code, not the style sheet, but in the source code, and I'm going to scroll down to where it says div ID equals article left. So let's zoom in on this. Now on my screen, there it is. It's in the content, it's on the left side and the right side. Now we're going to change this content later on the right side. But right here, I'm going to insert my cursor right there before the closed div, right between those angle brackets. And then I'm going to paste. Command V, I'm going to paste that iframe. Now it's a big chunk of code. You can see my map over here appear. And I'm going to actually just do this. Now only if you can change lines, if you do it in between the brackets. It's just a little more orderly for me. So you can see my article left, and this is the iframe code. Now notice the height says the width 600, height 450. That was the standard medium right over here in the source code. I'm going to change that to fit. Right now it looks like my width is perfect because that was 600, but I think I had this 500 pixels tall. So I'm going to change this 450 to 500. Boom, it's just too perfect, isn't it? Let me zoom out and see what that looks like. If you're in design view, not live view, it's going to look like a square gray nothing. Okay, so make sure you're in live view. And if notice my green barrel picture was still in the background, people might see that as it loads, but actually that's not a problem. Perfect, so that's working. Now this is fully functional. I can go to satellite. It's going to stay right in here. So that's a pretty cool feature. All right, that's called an iFrame, and it's like a picture in a picture. This is actually residing on Google Maps website, but it's just taking up this footprint inside of our site. All right, now here on the right hand side, I've had the benefit of writing mine out already because I thought ahead, right? Well, here's the content that I want to put in. I'm going to copy this content. Might change it up a little bit. Now, last year we did a drop cap and some things. I'm not going to do that right here. I did a little bit different layout. I'm going to copy this content and I'm going to spill it. This is only because I'd written it before. You just need to write yours. Right here, I'm going to say the green barrel happily invites you. I'm going to say something like, oh my goodness, I didn't mean to delete that whole thing. So let me just delete backspace, backspace. Okay. Invites you to come visit us. Okay, now this was pre restriction days, okay? Right. Okay, so I'm going to use that as my header, and then I'm going to go over here and paste that other content. By the way, I'm in live view and it's letting me edit that. I'm going to switch over to design view. Okay. And it's going to look a little different for temporary reasons. Happily invites you, let me scroll over here, to visit us. Okay, and I'm going to change something there. A prominent pickle boutique like none other. I think that's fine. And it got too much text. I don't want to worry about this, you know, exploding outside and having to change the size. So I'm actually going to change some things. I'm going to get rid of this thing about the coordinates. I got the word barrels misspelled right there. Let me see. A prominent pickle boutique like none other. Your friends will be green with envy when they hear about the fine pickle products you perused and hopefully purchased. I'm going to say that you purchased. I'm trying to edit this down. Our charming shop is located on the corner of Cucumber and Vine Streets. Well, it's not. It's actually at, it's not Bent. It's, say, Troy. Okay, I'm changing this one. We have collectible novelty gifts, apparel, and little barrels of fun items. Okay, let me delete that. You can see what I'm doing. I don't want to make this larger and then split out and have to change my sizes. So I just want enough content. I'm going to go to live view and see if it looks okay. Yeah, I'm going to change my address, 113 North 3 Notch Street. 113 North 3 Notch Street. Troy, Alabama, 36081. Got it. Look forward to meeting you. Perfect. Let me look at this in full screen. And guys, that should about do it. So the idea here is get your Google map embedded here and have this content here. I think I'm going to leave these links here. That's just fine. By the way, the rollovers don't function in live. They function in the real browser. By the way, some of you are having problems, and it's not unusual that when you go File, Real-Time Preview, or you click the little button in the bottom right down here that says Preview, way down here, this is another way to preview. If it doesn't do that for you, it's not that you've done anything wrong. It's just sometimes the way the preferences are set up, it won't. What you do is you go to like Chrome or Firefox, and you'll say File, Open, and then you'll go to your root folder, and you'll find your file, and you'll open it this way. And what I found is 100% of the time that's open for people, unless there's some other coding issue going on. All right. Thank you, guys. Let me know if you have any questions.